Hey, Alli.
Hey, Nick, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing well. Hold on, let me just figure out how to. Okay, I got it. Hi.
Hey, how you doing in this whole pandemic situation?
Oh, man, just trying to figure it all out and live my life. How about you?
I'm just kind of doing what I usually do, which is honestly not much nowadays. Classes are online and all that.
Yeah,
Has it affected your career at all, or?
absolutely. Yeah, it's been, pretty much blackout for a couple of months.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I mean, there's been some voice stuff, but like at the beginning, it really was sort of a blackout period for all of the actors. But it's coming back now. Yeah, like film and television is coming back, and voice was before that. It started coming back a little bit before that, but yeah, it was a bit of a scary moment, I think, for all of us. Not really sure when it would come back and how it. We don't know how it's
Oh,
coming back.
I'm super glad to hear that it's actually starting to come back now.
Yeah.
That must have been like scary at first when it was off the radar for a while.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyway, thank you for coming on this interview.
Of course.
I put together the questions, as you probably know, of the people. So the first question we have is, how did Ubisoft reach out to ask you to record? Like, did they tell you, or like, did they scout you out, or did you audition?
I did audition for it through my agent. Yeah, so that's how they found me.
Oh,
The
sweet.
good old-fashioned way.
When you auditioned, did your agent come to you about it?
Yeah, so I mean, usually for most auditions and actors, you get a message from your agent saying, "Hey, you've got an audition for this role." You either go in and you record for it, or you send a self-tape. Sometimes you don't hear back for months, and then they call you back and they go, "Hey, we've got a call back for you for this role," and you're like, "Which one was it? It was 3 months ago." And then you might go back in again, or like do a tape. For example, this character, I was doing it all via myself through tapes. And
all right.
yeah. And then so I was just booked through that way. Yeah, the kind of old-fashioned audition way.
Huh. Did you know when your agent came to you, did he say, or he or she say, that you're gonna be this like warrior woman in this audition, or was he just like, hey, audition for this person by Ubisoft?
Yeah, so each project is different, but they always, I mean, if they want you to do a good job, they've given you a description of the character. And so,
Right.
Ubisoft their game creators and writers are extraordinary and really creative. And they had a really detailed description of her backstory and her character traits.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, very, very detailed, which is always so good for the actor, because then you have something to work with, and
Right,
then you
that
can
must have
also
made it easy for you.
yeah, and then you get to bring your own bit to it as well. But
Oh, yeah.
they are definitely the people who have put in the work to create this character and her whole story. So I got to when I was actually doing the character in the sessions, I got to bring her personality to life that way. Yeah, I got to play around with it.
Did you add your own twist on the personality, or was it kind of like set in stone, like this is how they wanted her to act?
Well, I mean, her backstory is kind of set in stone, but they're very collaborative. They don't, she's got her character traits, but yeah, I brought my own twist to it based on my own research that I did with the character and my own interpretation of Neusha.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
What kind of research went into it?
So, well, there was a lot of research just sort of like into her backstory, all the details that they gave me about Wu Lin and, sort of that era. Yeah. So, and I think I could go, this kind of relates to, you had another question about if I was influenced by anything else. So yeah, part of that research comes with then my own influence of how I think that character would be alive in that time, and all of the things that would affect her.
I see. That's pretty neat.
Yeah.
Did you, when you said inspiration, did you have like an inspiration specifically, like from another famous, character in a movie or game, or a real historical figure?
Well, not necessarily a historical figure, but more of I do take inspiration. I actually take inspiration from female and male characters. And this one in particular, actually, I had inspiration from Ji Zhang's character in Crouching Tiger.
Oh, I saw that movie.
Yeah. So she's
Sorry,
really...
I had to like interject
That's
that.
okay. It's an awesome movie, and it's one of my favorites. And her character is so cheeky, a bit arrogant, and really strong, and has a like high confidence level. She's determined to get whatever she wants, and she's that classic warrior who's fallen from grace, sort of for her own self-gain.
Right.
And I feel like I took inspiration from her character, as well as Jet Li's character in Hero. I don't know if you've ever seen that movie.
Oh boy.
You should watch it. It's amazing. It's subtitled in Chinese.
All right.
It's subtitled in English. It's a Chinese film, and his character. You should watch it. It's pretty amazing. He's got his character in that is very complex. He's commanding presence, but he's got this sort of complexity between loyalty and treachery, and the idea of the ideal warrior. And the complication sort of between those things. So yeah, those were
so cool.
My inspirations for Neusha. Yeah,
that's really cool. Someone else asked this one. Were you in there with any other Wulin voice actor, or were you? I think you said before. Did you film like not in the official Ubisoft studio? Were you actually in there with them?
I was not with another Wulin voice actor. You rarely are you when you're doing voice. You're usually just doing your own stuff. Yeah. And then and especially because it's gameplay. And if it was like a performance capture scene, how sometimes videos have like an actual scene where the characters are talking together and they're in the scene together, because this is a gameplay and each character picks their own actions. We just record everything on our own, and then it's put into the game. So however you use it and you play, they give us many, many different scenarios, fight scenarios, different, things that would be happening. And we just record it all solo.
Oh, so they're like, okay, you're about to do an attack. Make a noise as if you were going to like upward swing or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. So you're given many different scenarios, and at least that's how I did it. I'm not sure how everyone else did it, but that's how I did it.
Oh. Well, that seems like a really effective way to do it then.
Yeah.
So, how would you describe Neusha's personality when you recorded her voice lines? Do you think she's like more reckless and loud, or quiet, strategic, or kind of like sassy, or what do you think?
Yeah, I think, she's a pretty complex character, I'd say. She was trained as a bodyguard and she's an assassin, but she's this warrior that's now taking her own path of revenge. I'd say she's quiet and graceful, like a snake, kind of, a viper. Yet she's deadly, and she is reckless because of her past and what's happened. She's sort of gone off on her own, seeking revenge. And so she's reckless, and she's strategic with her skill set, but I'd say she's reckless with her vow to seek revenge.
Yeah, fun fact, actually, not too many people know about the backstory of Neusha until they really get into the For Honor lore, which not many people do, sadly.
Yeah.
But the people that do, who actually know Neusha's backstory, it's actually pretty deep and complex, along with the other ruling characters.
Yes, it is.
Speaking of, how did you get into character when recording for Neusha? Did you have some sort of ritual that you do to immerse yourself in the role, or are you just kind of natural, just go in there all right, let's do this, start saying lines?
I'd say it's a bit of both, because as the actor, you've already done so much research and preparation. That's a lot of what's sort of already sunken into your subconscious when you go in to record it. But I think, for me, I really, would think of certain things that she was saying to herself, or certain lines that sort of got to the core of who her character is. And also with the gameplay too, and the fight play, a lot of it was there. I didn't have a ritual, but a lot of physical movement sort of, and stretching sort of gets you into the character more.
Oh, that actually does sound like a pretty good way to get into character. Um, did you study up on Mandarin when you were voice acting, or do you know it already?
I did study up. I knew some basic Mandarin, but I definitely studied a lot, and I worked with a dialect coach.
Yeah, a lot of people assumed because you said you knew some basic one. Is that because of research and past acting, or because of your heritage?
Both. Yeah, it was both, really. Yeah, I have had to research Mandarin, but like my dad's Cantonese.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so I've had to, but it seems Mandarin's more of a common dialect in Chinese, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know why. And so I have had to research some of that stuff before.
So, going off on more voice lines, what was your favorite voice line to record?
That's a good question.
If you remember, of course.
Yeah, I mean, there is one that I thought it was pretty funny when she says, "Am I distracting you?"
Oh.
Yeah, when she's sort of fighting. I think I always thought that one was pretty funny in the way it shows her confidence and her arrogance and how much she's enjoying winning.
Yeah, it sounds almost sassy or taunting.
Yeah, definitely she's a taunter, that's for sure.
Yeah. So with For Honor's changing a lot, even especially recently. Even today, they revealed a new character. Have you kept up to date with your For Honor character? Like, I noticed on your Instagram, you're actually one of the only voice actors in For Honor that I've seen, like the only one who's actually embraced her role as Nuxia and kind of advertises it like, hey, I'm Nuxia. I haven't seen anybody else do that with their characters, so I think that's super cool that you do it. But do you enjoy her style and just the whole thing that Ubisoft does with her?
I do. I love her look. I think she is so badass. And when I was recording her voice, I didn't actually see her in color yet. I had only seen sort of the mock-up of her, and I hadn't seen the final. So when I finally saw her, I was like, wow. She looks she looks so cool in her gear, her kit. I know that she's got like different options now of like different hook swords and things like that. And
oh yeah, the customization's crazy. Yeah,
it's so specific, and I think I just love it. And her moves and stuff, the lotus thing. I love it. I think it's really cool.
That must be a really cool experience, being like, you're voicing someone and they come to life and they're just an absolute badass, and you're like, oh my gosh.
I was like, this is definitely one of the coolest things I think I've ever done.
Oh, that's so cool. Anyway, that was all the questions I had regarding For Honor. There was some other questions that people were wondering as well.
Sure.
Were you in any other TV show, video game, or movie, and which ones were you in? Like, you don't have to list all of them, of course, but like, if you were to plug in something that we should watch right now that you're in because you're really proud of that role, which one would it be?
Yeah, well, actually, there's a couple. Right after I just finished recording Neusha, I was in a TV show called Unreal, and it's a drama about the reality shows and how producers manipulate the contestants on the reality shows.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and so it's a pretty fun show, and it won a Peabody Award, so I was in a season of that show, which was really cool. But more recently, I was in a TV show called Coroner, and I play a detective on that show. Oh,
that's really cool.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool. It's coming out in the fall on CW, but you can also find it in NBC International and CBC.
I'll definitely have to check that out then.
Yeah.
So, with your acting and all the stuff that's going on, what made you want to be an actress?
Well, I've always wanted to be in a creative type of job, and that's not always clear at first, and so I had different avenues along my journey, but acting sort of ended up coming naturally to me. And I actually worked in casting for a bit before I was in acting, so that was interesting and cool. I got to see sort of the other side of the table. Oh. But really my love for acting is connecting with people and being able to, entertain and tell a story. It's
Do
a
you like
great.
working with other people?
I
And
do, yeah.
have you met anybody like super, like, what's the word? Have you met someone like Leonardo DiCaprio, like someone?
um, I don't know of that caliber, but yeah, I've worked with some like really great artists and directors, and that it's been a really great journey. And to be honest, it's working with people who sort of are, less famous, sometimes you could say, those are some of the best experiences I've had.
Oh yeah, everybody like even people of any caliber, everybody or the right people are just so nice. Everybody's just so nice.
Yeah, and working, I do love working on indie projects as well, because it's sort of the heart of, the industry, and you've got people, really working for a passion and working for their project and not necessarily any other reason, and that's a pretty special thing.
It seems like a special thing. I'm glad you do what you do.
Thank you.
So people had some hobby related questions, and this one, I knew this question was coming. It was inevitable. Do you play video games?
I don't know what the right answer to this is because I'm in one, but I have in the past, but I don't currently really play video games.
Okay. All right, that's fine. It's just, I don't know, some people were curious. The other one was, do you know martial arts, or have you ever learned any or taken classes?
I have. I used to do kung fu in the past, but I don't really practice that anymore. I'm more recently working on boxing, and I work on stunt choreography, which is more sort of in the vein of what I need for what I do for film and television as well, which it's very opposite of actually learning any martial arts, because you aren't actually trying to hit anybody. So
You learn
it's
the
like,
opposite.
yeah, unlearning everything you've learned before.
Oh, that's I mean, I guess that's good to do for acting and stuff. You learn to not accidentally hit anybody.
Yeah, it is, because it's sort of like going against your instincts. It's an interesting skill to acquire. But yeah, I used to do kickboxing and boxing more, but now that I'm doing the
really
choreography, yeah, it's hard to do both at the same time because they're oppositional.
Yeah, you're on set and you accidentally kick someone in the face.
Yeah, exactly. Oops.
So, what are some of your other hobbies, especially now during the pandemic? Have you been up to anything lately?
Well, I've been lucky. I have a cottage up north, so I've been living up there, which has been really great. I've been just able to be in nature and go swimming and canoeing and like stand up paddleboarding and stuff, but which I love.
Paddleboarding's the best.
Yeah, I love it. It's one of my favorite things. And I love snowboarding in the winter. Yeah, and
Okay.
I picked up a cool hobby last year. I started doing Ariel Silks.
Ariel, what's that?
Ariel Silks. Yeah, it's like, I'm trying to describe it. Let's see. Have you ever seen Pink? The singer Pink, and how
Yeah.
she like hangs from the ceiling in these like ribbons?
Yeah.
It's that. It's like acrobatics from these silk ribbons that hang from the ceiling.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, it's really fun, but I can't do it right now because none of the gyms are open.
Oh, they have gyms for that?
Yeah, you have to have like a huge warehouse space because the silks are really long and they need to be supported from the ceiling.
That seems really fun, actually.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. It's kind of scary, but really fun.
Oh, all right. What kind of music do you like listening to?
Honestly, I pretty much like am cool with anything. Like I love all types of music. But I've been loving classical recently, and I also love 90s hip hop, R&B, grunge, pop, Brit pop. One of my favorite bands is Radiohead.
Oh my gosh. It's real popular around where I live. Everybody's always talking about Radiohead here.
Really? Where do you live?
Maryland, United States.
Oh, cool. I wouldn't have thought that.
Yeah, I didn't know why. It just took off here a couple of years ago for some reason, and now everybody's listening to it everywhere.
Wow. Yeah, they're like honestly so unique. I love them. And
Uh,
I've been listening to this guy, Sam Fender, recently, who's also a British artist. He's really great.
Sam Fender. I don't think I've heard of him. Maybe I've heard his songs before and just didn't know it, but I might have to look him up later.
Yeah, he's coming up, I feel like. He's sort of like a indie rock kind of artist.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
So, I have one more fun question from someone actually asked this one. I had to put this in here because it was really interesting. If you could pick up any historical weapon and immediately know how to use it like a master, which one would you pick and why?
This is such a fun question. Because I was just talking about this the other day with my stunt choreographer person, and we were talking about, because I was working on staff. I really am a fan of the staff, the long wooden staff, and we were talking about how there's this historical weapon. It's a 2-section staff, so it's like a long staff with a short pole attached to it by a chain. And it's like this really versatile weapon, and it originated in China from like ancient Shaolin temples and Shaolin martial arts. And so it's got this big staff with a small staff attached by a chain, and it's like you can use it as like a club and a baton. But anyways, it just sounds pretty badass. I don't even know how. It's like
a giant disproportionate nunchuck.
Yeah, and I don't even know how you would use it, but if I could use that sounds pretty cool.
That does sound really cool. It sounds exotic.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen that before. I'll have to give that a look.
Look it up. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Anyway, so the last thing, I know your agent didn't get back to you on it, so I don't think you can do the lmao get bodied thing.
I can't do right now because I didn't hear back from them, but I'll check in with them again today, and I can send it to you if they give me the okay.
Right. Anyway, that's all the questions I have. Did you have any other comments you wanted to make, or anything you wanted to say?
I just want to say I'm really glad that everyone loves the character, and I hope they're enjoying the game because I loved doing it.
That's really good to hear. I'm glad you love doing it. We loved hearing you in the game.
Cool.
And seeing your character come to life. Anyway, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to do this interview. We really loved having you here, and I hope everything goes well in your acting career and everything forward from here.
Thanks, Nick. Same to you.